All right, welcome everybody. And if you all could take a minute to mute if you're not speaking. And if you need to, eat your lunch or what have you, if you could hide your video, that way you can enjoy your lunch without getting interrupted. But I want to take a moment to welcome everybody. My name is Sandra Davis. I am the current WCA National President. And welcome to our second Saturday of 2025. It was super important that we connect very early on and kind of give you some bases about WCA, just in case either you have forgotten that there's a ton of resources out there on our website. Perhaps as a member, you weren't aware of all the things that the national organization gets involved in and how we support the individual chapters. Um, I'm going to take a moment to share screen and we'll kind of get started with the presentation. We have members of the different caucuses available to speak about their individual groups and some of the things and initiatives that they're working on, as well as some highlights of 2024. So let me share my screen. And can you see my screen? Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. So welcome to Women's Caucus for Art about WCA 2025, Seen, Heard, and Recognized. Hopefully those three words are familiar to you. You should have been seeing them in the president's messages that were part of the Pulse every month last year. And we also will be using those same three words as the theme throughout 2026. We find that having sort of a focus, at least for myself, I do this every year instead of a New Year's resolution. I will select a word or a phrase or two or three words to sort of live by for the year. And I found for 2024, the Seen, Heard, and Recognized really underscored some of the things that we were accomplishing. The monthly board meetings, the monthly leadership meetings, because we wanted to see you, we wanted to hear from you, but we also wanted to take a moment to recognize some of the great things that our chapters and individual members were accomplishing. So again, my name is Sandra Davis. I'm the WCA president through 2026. I have accompanying me Deb Deal Blackwell, who is our WCA president-elect. Just in case you needed to have faces with the names, you know who is hosting today. I did want to take a moment to read a statement to our members of the Southern California WCA, that also includes our Peninsula chapter and any of the other victims that are, being impacted by the devastating California fires. The Women's Caucus for Art, a women-led community-based organization, stands with you in solidarity during this challenging time. Our hearts are heavy with the knowledge of the loss and hardship you face, but we are inspired by your resilience and the strength of the communities coming together in support. As you navigate through recovery and rebuilding, may you find solace in the collective care and compassion of those around you. Know that you're not alone. Our thoughts, prayers, and continued commitment to community and well-being are with you. Stay safe, and may hope guide you forward. And just keep in mind, if you're going to donate to any of the organizations, and I have a couple highlighted here, make sure these are reputable organizations. It could be that you donate directly to somebody that you know is impacted. And if you wanted to go to our website, you can go to the website under the donate page and indicate that you want to be able to help our Southern California members. So let's talk a little bit about celebrating our successes. And part of our successes are the second Saturday programs. And, we find that there's so much information. Our members are doing incredible things. And if you have an opportunity where you have a program and presentation ready to go, you too could be included in the second Saturday's presentations. Now, 2025 is pretty much booked, but every once in a while there's a hiccup along the way where maybe somebody is not able to attend, or maybe we don't have a host to host that particular session. So we're always looking for ways to help support this program. And then going into 2026, we'll start the sessions over again. So if you've got something incredible that you wanted to share with the entire organization, Second Saturday might be a way to do that. I know our last Second Saturday session in December was actually presented by the WCA DC chapter president and her project Out of the Closet. So we want to hear from you. That's part of our Seen, Heard, and Recognized, and how you all can continue to share your individual successes with the entire organization. There's also the book club that happens every other month, I believe, on Wednesdays. The list is already out there on our website. So if you want to see what books are going to be talked about and discussed going forward, make sure, again, participate, get involved. All these things are done by Zoom, so you never have to leave the comfort of your home to attend and to participate. And if there's a book that you've come across that you think would be a great topic for discussion, you can send that book title to Laura Morrison, who handles our programs and our book club nights. Deb, anything that you wanted to add there at all? You're on mute.
I'm on mute. No, that's pretty good. I've got a couple of statements or some things I'd like to say later, though.
Okay, I'll give you a second, okay? And then the other thing that we wanted to also highlight, and we'll talk about that in today's session, is our individual caucus programs. And we have some of the caucus leadership on the call for today, and they will have an opportunity to present what's going on with their individual caucuses. Deb, go ahead.
Oh, what I just wanted to say, and maybe I could just, I was going to say it at the end of of our little event today, but I think we need to, in 2025, take advantage of the community that we have created. And that means reaching out to not only your own chapter members, but members around the country, because different chapters are doing different things and have knowledge about how to do things. And if you have a question or you want to dip your toe into like grant writing or creating a community collaboration, I know our Colorado chapter has done a lot of that kind of work. Anybody who would like to talk to me about it can at any time. Just give me a call and we'll see if we can help you. But this is not just for Colorado to do. Everybody needs to help everybody else. That's the beauty of the caucus. And I'm just looking forward to this year. Thanks.
Thanks, Deb. So when we talk about resources and how much information is out there, keep in mind our organization is 52 years strong. Trust and believe we have been gathering and gathering and loading and gathering and tweaking and revisiting, and there's a ton of stuff out there on the website. And so if you have a question about exhibitions, there's a guide. If you have a question about what types of logos should be used for any sort of publication, there is a guide. There's information about budgets and treasury report. I mean, there's a ton of information out there. It just takes a moment to review and explore. Um, we're constantly adding to the site. We are consistently, updating information. There's tutorials there. And then there's links to the individual chapters when you go under just the chapter tab on the website, and you can go in to see who the current leadership team is. You've got member clicks. If you're not sure how to go and navigate through member clicks, there's a tutorial there. Maybe you are part of a large community. Can somebody please put yourselves on mute? Thank you. When it comes to looking for how to connect with people, once you go into members clicks, you can go in and search by the person's name. You can go in and search by the chapter the person may be involved in. And perhaps, maybe you want to start a pod. Well, there's even the guidelines on how to start a pod. So I know here in the area where I live in Maryland, we are a tri-state area chapter, Maryland, DC, Virginia. It's a pretty broad swath of geography. So our president is down in Fredericksburg, Virginia, but we've got people as far as north as Frederick, almost Pennsylvania. So creating a pod within those areas might be beneficial to continue that community spirit. So again, Deb had mentioned creating that community, and this is where I want to start talking about the caucuses. And also wanted to mention that in the past, we have been a big participant of the conferences that happen every year. Recently, they've been in New York and Chicago with WCA and CAA. For those who may not know, we are an affiliate of the College Art Association. And so when they have their conferences in February, we normally are part of that. Our last in-person sort of participation was in 2020, right before the pandemic. And at this point in time, we're sort of doing a meetup. So if you're able to come to the conference, there aren't any real truly planned out interaction outside of our panel and meeting program that happens on February 14th. And then for those who might not know, the Feminist Art Project also will have a day of panels on Saturday, February 15th. So again, there's not a real planned out participation, but for those who can make it, we encourage you to come. You can find information out again on our website, more about WCA at CAA. I can tell you Laura Morrison and myself will be there. We would love for you to join us. There'll be impromptu meetups. There'll be impromptu, maybe going to a gallery or museum, impromptu, maybe having dinner with one another. But again, we know how costly and expensive these trips can be. So we wanted to be very conscientious. But the other thing about this is we have a very small board right now. And so for what can get accomplished with 5 people versus maybe there was 20 people, 10 years ago, what have you, that could take on these different tasks. The offer is here. If you want to join us, that's great. And if not, perhaps maybe going forward in another time, you'll be able to join us. And here about the caucuses. So we have the Eco Art Caucus. We have the Young Women's Caucus. We have J1, or the Jewish Women's Artists Network Caucus. I had already mentioned the Feminist Art Project, and then as well as the International Caucus and the UN. And here's where we'll start to invite the caucus leaders to talk about their particular committees and groups. So first up is our Eco Art Caucus, and I'm not sure if Lisa was able to join us, but if there is anybody on the call today that would like to add some thought, some insight on how they're participating with the Eco Caucus, I would love to hear from you here.
I'll talk about it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie Samuels, and we're doing a lot right now, actually. We all put together, this is from Michigan, and we put together art books that all the artists in the, I don't know if all, but a lot of the artists in the group made their own art books. And those are going to be eco art books. And those are going to be presented in galleries, hopefully across the country. So unfortunately, Lisa lost her husband recently, and we're very saddened by that. So we've kind of lost our pace, but she's getting those together and getting them out. We're also doing a show at the Lawrence Street Gallery in Ferndale, Michigan, which is a really pretty gallery. And so by doing that, we actually got new members to the caucus because you had to be a member of the caucus in order to participate in the show. So we did gain new members that way, which was pretty terrific. So that's going to be happening in March of 25. And then the other thing is we're going steady and strong with our ecological books that we read and discuss. And I think we're doing well. You know, we're doing well. We enjoy each other, and it's been a lot of productivity over here.
Thank
Yeah,
you for that.
I really enjoyed it. And felt like I've got to know some other people and do something good for the planet too at the same time. I've really enjoyed being part of the Eco Art Caucus.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
Is there anybody else that's on that would like to share a couple of thoughts about the Art Caucus if you participate? No, and that's okay. We can save some questions for the end. Did somebody have something to add?
I was just going to say, I have a one-person show coming up in February, so I'll send some information to you guys.
This is Delia. I'm part of the Eco Art Caucus as well, and I'm loving it. It's something I look forward to participating in,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm learning something. And we also, I think, besides the events that have already been mentioned, I believe we have an online show that's going to come up in April. We had one this past year, and there'll be another show, and I believe it is scheduled for April.
Excellent. Mara, you have a question?
Yes, I am very interested in the eco art, show. How anybody could participate with the, I would like to know, to see if I could participate, but how are my options?
We'll make sure that we provide that information for you, Mara, at the end of our presentation, but thank you for asking.
Thank you.
The caucus link is on the website, but we'll make sure that we share that link for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on to the next. Maddie, you're up for the Young Women's Caucus.
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute for a second. Yeah, I just want to preference all of this by saying I love this program. I look forward to it. We meet once a month. We started meeting in December 2023, where we started with about 60 members, and now we've grown to a little over 75. Our monthly meetings really give us, kind of like how Deb was saying earlier, we're really focused on community and building a community for emerging and, already pre-existing artists to communicate and express what it's like to just be a woman navigating the art field. Our monthly meetings give us the opportunity to engage with others, with both emerging artists, and discuss challenges we're facing, as well as share different art opportunities. Each month, we have a member of the caucus do like a little presentation about them and their work, where we give feedback and we have a little discussion afterwards. We have an active WhatsApp group, which helps us develop a closer community and open dialogue. I'm the moderator for that. On Mondays, I do art opportunities. So we have so many members that are of different, everything under the sun, from like dance to performing arts to painting. And we try to go through and find different art opportunities for all of our different members. I try to post about 5 to 6 on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we have Women Crush Wednesdays, where we kind of highlight a woman in the arts who is kind of killing it in their field right now, making waves and deserves the recognition, you know? And then on Fridays, we have Feedback Fridays, where you can drop images of your work to the group chat for critique or feedback, and also just anything that's on your mind. And the occasional like pet pic doesn't hurt either. I think Lord knows there's so many photos of my cat in that group chat. We do have an active Instagram where we post 3 times a week, and it kind of follows the same layout of our WhatsApp group. So a opportunity that is posted to our WhatsApp group also gets posted on our account on Mondays. Same with Women Crush Wednesdays, and same with Fridays, except Fridays I try to kind of like lighten the move, and we'll do like Veronica and I will do an art meme or something silly that we can all relate to. Our biggest project is our website that we're launching that will have little highlights for all of our members. Right now, we're growing to about 55 members on the website. So it's going to be a good way for our members to get recognition and to also put their work out there, and also give the YWC an additional face on social media. And with all of that being said, I do want to say we're actively seeking new members, both internally and externally. So if there's any existing members in your caucuses that are interested and feel, we like to say young at heart, you know, we would love to speak with you further about it.
Awesome. And Maddie, I'm just gonna put you teeny bit on the spot. For those who think that you can't be a member because there's not a local chapter, can you share with everybody where you reside and that there is no chapter in your area?
I live in Savannah, Georgia. There is no chapter in my state. Whenever we have meetups, we will tend to try to do a meetup where there's like a large cluster of us all at once. We'd had a Chicago meetup in June, but you don't have, that's one thing I love about this program and this organization with the YWC and the WCA is you don't have to be in an art hub of the world. You don't have to be in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago to grow a community.
Thank you for that. And I think that also illustrates as, we take advantage of technology. Who knew in 2020 that we would pivot to this virtual gathering on a regular basis? And it has really been fruitful for us, I believe, as an organization to connect with each other across the country. And so thank you for that, Maddie. I didn't mean to just totally put you on the spot, but I wanted to sort of illustrate that you don't have to be in a state where there's a physical chapter to feel like you belong. So thank you for that.
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Awesome. Idel, are you on to talk a little bit about J1?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Okay, are you going to show, I think there were a couple of slides you can show if you're inclined.
I'm not
Hi,
sure if they
everybody.
were included.
I don't have them stacked. Yeah, I did provide a couple of composite slides. If not, I'll just talk. I'm a co-chair of the J1 caucus, and I'm located in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and my other co-chair is Rona Lesser, who's in Houston. And Rona and I met on a trip to Israel with an arts organization, another arts organization, and we both were WCA members. At the time, J1 was not very active. So I reached out to Rona, and we've been co-chairs for a couple of years now. The caucus has done a number of things. We've had a presentation on Art and Scroll Studio, which included one very established artist and a younger artist. That's a program out of Calgary that focuses on artists who are using themes in their work that refer to either their Jewish identity or tradition. We've also had some sort of meetups online. But this past year, since October 23, we've been doing something called the Beit Midrash Art Studio. And it is a way to do art together online using both text study, which we'll go over some interesting text, either things that are from, it can be Torah text, which is biblical, or it might involve some commentary or writings by women or usually referring to some women, often that will come up. And it's been really interesting to meet with various people. We've done workshops. We rotate between three of us. One person does a process called Jewish Studio Process, which was developed by Rabbi Adina Allen, who's the daughter of Pat Allen, who created the Open Studio Process, which I'm a facilitator of. They have a Open Studio project is in Evanston, Illinois, where I got trained. I'm actually a metalsmith and a jeweler, and I also do two-dimensional other kinds of art. So we've been cycling through every month. A different person has been leading it. I lead Open Studio Process. Rona leads a torn paper workshop, which is great for anyone, artist or non-artist. And then the Jewish Studio Process creates a ritual space for making art. And then we'll share what we made and we'll write about it first and then read it out loud, because it's very powerful to hear your own witness to what you've made. Since we got started and the pandemic happened, we have never been able to meet everybody in person at any of the conferences. So getting the caucus to be a little wider with more participation has been a little bit of a challenge. We learned this artist Beit Midrash, and we'd like to do, we could do books, and we could do, recently someone asked me to do studio tours. So if you're an artist who has either an inclination or an interest in Jewish aspects of your, I'd love you to get in touch with me or Rona, or come to one of our sessions. They're on Friday, usually one Friday a month. And we've gotten some traction in the area. People now know about it in Ann Arbor. So that's primarily what I would like to do, is get to meet and brainstorm a little bit more with some others. And while this caucus was formed for Jewish women, and we've had many people attend these workshops who are not Jewish, because the themes are very universal. And so we'd really welcome you coming and having your ideas and your input.
Thank you, Idel.
And let me know if you have any questions. You're welcome.
And we'll make sure that there's time to ask questions for all of the caucus leaders, if they're still able to stay on till 2:30. Who do we have to represent the Feminist Art Project? Is anybody on? No? Kyron, do you want to speak a teeny bit about TFAB? No? Well, I'll invite everybody to take a peek at the TFAB tab that's on the website. The Feminist Art Project was part of a separate organization, although we always sort of partnered with them. And in the last couple of years, they've now become part of WCA. So if you're really interested in really sort of the feminist movement, oftentimes we find some of our members are not necessarily comfortable being in an activist state. They felt that or feel that being a part of the Women's Caucus for Art really should be more art driven versus activism driven. Keep in mind, we were founded under an activism vein. And so it's truly important that we recognize and see and hear from all of our members, because we all have different focuses. We all have different mediums that we work in. Oftentimes the work that we do, while it may not be intentionally activist driven, there is an activism component to that. And TFAB is that area within our organization that really, really focuses on that. Amanda, I see you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Sandra. Sorry, I'll keep this short. I'm not feeling 100% today. But I
Okay.
just wanted to say, as someone from one of those states that activism is kind of maybe not necessarily promoted as much, that I've recently joined TFAP and I have really enjoyed what I'm seeing coming out of the caucus and the information that they share. If you are an activist like I am, or you identify with activism, I really recommend that you check it out.
Karen.
Yeah, I just looked at the numbers, and they have grown from just 10 people to 160, and I mean, the membership fee is $10 for the caucus. So that's like a complete success, basically.
Thank you for that. Anybody else want to share any participation or experience that they've had with TFAB? I'm looking forward to the day of panels in February in New York. And so we'll be able to have more information to share after we've gone through that presentation. But if you really are looking for a way to have your voice heard from that activism lens, I would highly recommend that you participate with TFAB. Do we have anybody here from our UN and International Caucus? No? I will say, when I joined back in 2013, just as a regular member, I was totally unaware that we even had this as part of our organization. And this is where, again, we invite you to really explore the website. Maybe within your chapter, you can maybe assign a member to say, okay, I need you to help explore TFAB, or I need you to explore what's going on with the Young Women's Caucus. And then maybe coming back and report your findings or the information that you want to share with your individual chapters, especially for those chapters who are able to meet in person. Perhaps maybe you're not looking at the website for that information. But when I talk about us being 52 years young, almost 53 years young as an organization, it is imperative that we do our research about ourselves. We know in today's political environment, history is trying to be swept under the rug. History is trying to be hidden and not talked about, and books are being banned and what have you. But here you have an organization that wants to support all of our history, whatever that history is. But it's really important that we even know our own history as an organization. So I invite you guys to really explore the website, really explore to see what's there. Do we have anybody present that participates in the LGBTQ caucus and formation? Karen?
If nobody is here, I would say that this caucus has actually like 81 members, and it's not a caucus. So we basically need the chair for this caucus. If somebody wants to step up and become a chair or co-chair, that would be great, because 81 people is like almost it's like a bigger caucus than Young Women's Caucus, for instance, you know. So I think they need a chair.
Thank you for that. And this just sort of illustrates to me where there is a very specific focus in a particular part of our communities, where we want to give a platform to help support this particular community. And so whether it's JWAN, whether it's the Young Women's Caucus, whether it's the Eco Caucus, at one point in time, there was a Women of Color Caucus back in the 90s, I believe. And so Women's Caucus for Art wants to help support those communities. So sometimes it starts off with a pod. Sometimes it starts off with just a very small group of people who have a very specific focus or initiative. Please let us know. And I use those three words over and over again: seen, heard, and recognized. Let us help support you and your community. So hopefully you all notice that every month, not only in Pulse, but also on the website, we highlight an artist of the month. And at the mid part of the year, we reach out to the chapter leaders and we ask for nominations. Who would you like from your chapter to be recognized as a featured artist? So if you've been a featured artist, fantastic, congratulations. If you want to be a featured artist, let your chapter leader know. You can always send a note to myself, to Karen. By the way, I would like to be a featured artist. I didn't know this was a thing that was available, but your chapter leaders are the ones who are selecting who the featured artist of the month from their chapter is going to be. And we rotate it. So every month there's a different featured artist from a different chapter. Here you can see the website link where you can go in to see who's been highlighted, and also take a look at the gallery page. And here again, we talk about how robust our website is. Literally, when you go to the first page, when you open it up, you actually see the list at the top and a scrolling of the images of the nominated featured artists. You'll see where our Facebook feed is coming in, our social media feeds are coming in. And if there's any information that you want to be able to look at or add or share with Pulse, the website there and the link to send to our contact email. We look for blog topics and articles. So if you're doing something really great in your own art practice and you want to be able to share that with the organization, this is where you would reach out. Again, President's theme, seen, heard, and recognized. You'll continuously to sort of hear that. So when we looked at last year, when we started off last year, we were hearing some grumblings and we were hearing some mumblings and we were hearing some dissatisfaction with how National was connecting with the individual chapters, which led to the chapter leaders meetings every month. And this was an opportunity to not only hear from the chapter leaders in terms of successes, we were also hearing the challenges. And so we took a topic each month that we would focus on And those topics were being generated from whatever was happening with the members. They were sending it to their leaders, and then the leaders were bringing it to the national board and the executive committee to see if we could figure some things out, maybe solve some problems and challenges. And then again, you know, we need to see what's going on within those individual chapters so we're able to share that information across the board. I was fortunate enough to spend quite a bit of time having one-on-ones with the chapter leaders. So if that was not shared with you, Sandra reached out to every single chapter leader. We had an hour to an hour and a half conversation individually. Not only did I want to hear from them about what was going on in their chapters, but I wanted to get to know them. Why did they take on the leadership role? What brought them to Women's Caucus for Art? Because we all have different reasons outside of wanting community on why we participate and get involved with this organization. Heard again, we wanted to hear from you. That's highlighting the activism that's happening. I know here in the DC chapter, again, I had mentioned Sarah, who's the chapter president. She was able to host a program that actually talked and shared about some of the work that she's doing in the Fredericksburg area. Fredericksburg, Virginia is pretty conservative. And the fact that she could highlight and talk about and celebrate the LGBT community in Fredericksburg from a historical standpoint, how it was embraced at a museum that she was able to curate this show, and then she was able to come on and do a second Saturday presentation. Again, I mentioned the WCA all leadership meetings. Deb, I'm going to give you an opportunity here to talk a little bit about our chapter leader meetings and just share your thoughts.
I think if you can attend them, if you can make it to a chapter leader meeting, you should. It's a great way to find out what other chapters are doing and get some inspiration and also pick up some knowledge about how to do some of these things. The sharing between the chapters is very important to community. So if you can make those meetings, please do. I think you'll be glad you did.
Thank you. And chapter leaders also should be nominating an individual to attend the chapter council meeting in February. This used to happen in person at the conference, but these are now being held virtually. We'll get the dates out. A handful of the leaders have already nominated their chapter council representative. It really should be a non-leader. We would like to hear from a member and not necessarily a leader, since we do the monthly meetings with the leaders. But if you are interested in being your chapter's council representative, please let your chapter president, VP, or whoever know so they can get that name and information to us so we can create the invite. As Karen had mentioned, we need people on the board. The more we have on the board, the more we get to do. This is 100% volunteer organization. And we're here because we have a commitment and the love for the organization. You may be doing this for, I don't know, maybe helping to build your resume. Maybe you're hoping to meet somebody to get into it. Whatever your reason is, without a strong board, we're limited to what can be done. We all have a ton of suggestions and, you know, we should be doing this and we should be doing that. But keep in mind, outside of a 40-hour work week, and then we want to be in our studios. Then we have receptions to attend. We want to visit museums and galleries. And you want us to plan things for WCA. So without having a strong board, we're limited to what we can do. And then just contribute. You know, maybe it's a specific committee, or maybe it's only, you know, you only have time for a small project, but we want to hear from you. We absolutely want to hear from you and your contribution. and recognized. Here, when it comes to recognition, we're a huge participant with the Lifetime Achievement Awards. We haven't done a Lifetime Achievement Award since 2022. And again, part of that is financial. Part of that is limited in terms of board participation, but also looking to reimagine what the Lifetime Achievement Award actually could be. A lot of times, it was only those who could afford to attend the conference who were able to have access to the Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. But it's truly important that we continue this legacy, that we continue to highlight, that we continue to celebrate women in the arts. WCA was highlighting achievements of women in the arts way before they were getting these, big shows at galleries and museums and what have you. Way before anybody even knew who these women were. And so the fact that, a Faith Ringgold was one of our Lifetime Achievement awardees. The fact that although I don't believe she attended, Georgia O'Keeffe was an awardee, right? So we've got a legacy of some amazing female artists out there that we as an organization have recognized way before the rest of the US recognized them. Leaving your legacy. If you all visit the webpage today, you will see that we're starting a legacy wall. And right now there's 3 members, I believe, Karen, that are on the legacy wall. Can you take a minute to talk a little bit about the legacy program? You're muted, Karen.
Shall I share my screen? Or
yes, let me stop sharing and you can share.
also, do you want to go to your? No, okay. Let me just pull this up. 1 second. I'm not prepared.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, so basically a year and a half ago, I started working on the legacy program, which I studied a lot of how to do wills, what does it take to or what does it take to have a legacy program. So there's a lot of nuts and bolts, like what solutions, like popular gifting solutions. So I had to like find out all these different things of how other organizations have been doing this program or setting up these programs. So basically I and Kathy Salzer, we kind of like broke it down into little manageable pieces. So we came up basically with this solution here, and we collected a lot of free programs, free documents of like how to and what it takes for the individual artist to leave a legacy and make it like, cemented in their wills and have their lawyers look at this. And the person who actually started out this kind of legacy a long time ago was Joan Mitchell Foundation, and she really did a lot of kind of like, she really was a pioneer of how to do this, how to put all these things into gears, right? Like all these like booklets you can download, you can look this up. So I have collected basically a lot of information of how to set something up. And so then we have like, so then we discussed like, how do we honor the people who gave us or leave us something in their will. We decided to do a legacy wall. And so basically this is like these 3 members, they have already donated or like bequested WCA in their will. And so if you basically click on Dallas, you see like, oh, there's something wrong here. Okay, sorry. So you can see your biography, but there's something wrong in this program here. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay, so this window is not, you see like a whole gallery of the people's artwork, but unfortunately there's like this is not working today. Yeah. Okay, there's a glitch in the program. I have to go and look at it and find out what happened. Sorry about that.
That's
But
okay, but thank you,
it's,
Karen. I
it's a
appreciate
good
that.
thing. So I noticed that there's something wrong. But basically, it shows us like, 10, 15 artworks of the people. And you can learn more about who those people are. And so basically, that's the legacy program. And anything else?
Nope, I don't think so. We're almost getting towards the end. Let me share my screen one more time, and then we're gonna wrap some things up. We got together over the summer, June of 2024, to really start planning ahead with help with Deb and some of the other chapter leaders and the board to really start focusing on, they talk about you can't eat an elephant all in one big bite. You got to sort of take spoonfuls, right? One one bite at a time. And so the three goals that we're really, really focusing on right now is growing membership, growing the national board, fundraising, but we're keeping in mind reimagining the Lifetime Achievement Awards. That's really, really critical. And so we welcome suggestions and recommendations. When it comes to the national board, one of the things that we want to sort of reiterate, and this also goes with the chapter level, the board doesn't necessarily have to be a person that's a visual artist. The person can be somebody who supports the art. Maybe they have an accounting background. Maybe they have a facilitation background. Maybe they've got a background in project management and they just happen to support the art. We want these people to be part of our organization because it brings a level of professionalism and experience that maybe individual artists don't have. A lot of us really just want to focus on the art, and that is 100% okay. But in the meantime, this organization has to continue with some strong talent in some of these areas. So think about your friends, think about the professional people that you know in your network that could be really, really good candidates to be on the board. We have a great checklist, skill set checklist that we can provide to you all, the chapter leaders or whoever wants to request it, just to kind of gauge what their skill set could be. And I welcome one-on-one conversations with anybody who wants to find out about what WCA is about. And that's really the only way that we're going to be able to grow the board is the more that we talk about, the more that we recruit, whether it's at chapter level or whether it's at national level. We run into people all the time at different venues and different exhibitions and receptions. Think about who's in your network that could be a potential candidate to join the board. And look within your own chapter. Who has great leadership skills? That's a way of recognizing somebody to say, you do such a great job at X. We would love to have you on the board. Sometimes it could just be we start you off as a director and then move you up into a more officer sort of role. But don't be shy about raising your hand to say, hey, I think I can add some value and I've got some experience that I would like to share and participate on the board. We recently have started an exhibition committee and we're about to launch the first online call for entry for a virtual exhibition. We have a great virtual platform. So if you want to get involved in exhibitions, that's a great way for project management, learning how to manage exhibitions, the things that are involved and being part of putting an exhibition together. And then any ideas around the Lifetime Achievement Award. Keep in mind, we all have favorite people in our own community that we may feel should be a Lifetime Achievement Awardee. But I will caution you a little bit because we want to make sure that the folks that we're recognizing, when it comes to how we're going to recognize that person, if we have to fundraise, we really want to make sure that this person not only has had some community impact, but maybe even larger impact, right? So more discussion around the Lifetime Achievement Awards. And again, we welcome suggestions and recommendations. When it comes to growing membership, we really would like to see our chapters grow to 17. We're currently at 14 active. We had one go into hiatus, and we also lost Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania chapter. So we really want to look towards growing that membership. And again, sometimes it starts off as a small pod in a particular area, and then that pod can grow. We also want to make sure that we're retaining who we have. It's difficult to continue trying to add more people when we can't even retain who we have. Again, proven strategies, building the pods, partnering with other organizations, and plain old simple personal outreach and inviting your friends. Growing the national board, again, we can look at chapter council directors and regional chairs, join a committee. You may find that being involved in a committee, maybe you do have time to commit to more than just what's happening at your individual chapter. When it comes to development, maybe you've got some ideas on how to fundraise or how to partner with organizations. Maybe you have a knack to post stuff on social media and you want to get involved in communications. And then again, we talked a little bit about fundraising. The legacy program is one way to fundraise. Corporate matching. We attempted to do Giving Tuesday this past November, and then fiscal sponsorship. I want to talk a teeny bit about corporate matching. That's something that I do individually. I happen to work full-time for Bank of America, large financial organization. Well, they will match whatever I contribute to a nonprofit organization. I record my volunteer hours, and once I hit 50 hours of volunteer time, the organization that I choose is then eligible for a $500 grant. So trust and believe, WCA was the recipient of that grant this year, just simply because I entered my volunteer hours. There may be other members that you have that work for large corporate organizations that also have that matching component. I invite you all to talk to your members about that. Giving Tuesday kind of happened a little haphazardly. We started talking about it in, I think, like late September, October, for it to go into play in November. This year, we have a little bit more time to plan that. And then fiscal sponsorship. Karen, can you talk a little bit about what fiscal sponsorship is?
Okay, we have currently one fiscal sponsor, sponsee, which is Karen Frostick, and she's working on a Jewish memorial in Latvia. And basically, she is not allowed to receive funds as a personal, as an individual. So basically, the funds have to go to another 501c3, and then we basically receive the money and pay out the receipts for her expenses to work on her program. So this has been going on last year, I think, and we take 7% of whatever grant money comes in. So last year WCA made through this fiscal sponsorship program about $1,400, which is kind of a great kind of addition to our income. And yeah, and Karen brought in about $20,000 through various organizations. So fiscal sponsorship is a great way of asking for grants if you need an organization that clears basically the grants for you. So that might be a great fundraising idea for individuals to engage in.
And also, for the chapters that are still not 501c3, this may be an opportunity to apply for grants that would normally go to a nonprofit organization. You can sort of use the national as the parent for that sponsorship. Don't be shy to have a conversation with Karen or myself about those things. Not all of our chapters are considered nonprofit organizations. Not sure if you all knew that, but that is still the case with some of the chapters.
Yeah,
Sandra,
Thank you.
I can help out too if there's anybody who wants to go through the process and want some advice.
Thanks, Deb.
Yeah, actually, the Indiana chapter right now is we are in conversation about a grant, and so basically they found already a grantor, and in February or no March they will have an exhibition which will be sponsored through WCA again. You know.
Awesome. In terms of exhibitions, we're going to be looking to plan for the next 5 years around Women's History Month that we will have a virtual exhibition. So we'll be looking for themes and looking for ways to promote from the individual chapters. In person, again, if you all are familiar with a space or a venue that would be a great host for a national exhibition, oftentimes in order to encourage other chapters outside of the state where the venue may be located, the venue needs to be able to facilitate shipped work. Unless there's a point person within that chapter geography that's able to receive the work. It's difficult sometimes to find spaces that will take in that shipped art because they may not have the manpower to do that. But don't be discouraged. There's ways that we can work that out. 2026, we're planning a national or exhibition in Virginia. So, keep your ideas coming, join the exhibition committee. But here's another way for us to generate income based on submission fees and things like that. Exhibitions are really, really important to us as artists, to the organization, and to the chapters. That's how we recruit. That's how we let people know who we are. And there's just some amazing work that's being produced out there that we want to be able to see. And again, the Lifetime Achievement Awards, we're just now starting the committee. I had a great conversation with our treasurer. She's like, if you're trying to do this for 2026, we need to start this conversation like yesterday. So if anybody wants to join the Lifetime Achievement Committee to kind of get things started, please send an email to me or to Karen to let us know your ideas and your level of interest. And again, please, 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 baby, 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 please join the board. We really need your help. Email me, email Karen, attend a board meeting, let us know that what kind of projects that you're working on. We want to see things that you're doing. She could add it to Pulse, volunteer to do a program. We want to hear from you. WCA is not just about leadership. WCA is about all of you. And that is the end of our presentation. And I want to open it up to some Q&A. If you can raise your hand, go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, I think we didn't talk about the calendar, which is like a great way of announcing your shows and also look for calls for art. So that is, I would check this at least like every 2 weeks or something, see what else is going on.
If you could use the raise the hand icon if you have a question. Can't see everybody. Let's see. Did you all feel this was a good time spent to learn a little bit more about the organization on whole? Did you learn anything that you didn't know before? Idel, I see you have your hand up.
Yes. Just quickly, yeah, I think it was worthwhile, definitely. And I always tell people in our Michigan chapter, always in the newsletter, to really read and really look at the what's going on nationally. I think we need to remember that this is a national organization. I just wanted to mention for the J1 group that last year we brought in an art therapist who's very well known, who created the open studio process. Pat Allen did a workshop for us in Ypsilanti, which is right next to Ann Arbor. And it was a really successful event. We had 19 people, plus the 3 or 4 of us who were, helping. And it involved the Riverside Art Center, which is an art center in Ypsi, and they comped us the space. What was really great was, although it was through the J1 group, we had a very diverse group. We had a scholarship. One person got a scholarship. We were able to lead, Pat led something related to Jewish studio process also. And it was really nice to be in a group where, whether or not you shared the same background, it was a very welcoming, open feeling to the group. And that made it really very special. Then we also had an exhibition by 22 people who had participated in the Beit Midrash on their work. And we also did a video walkthrough with the artists on another day. But Laura Earl, who's a member of, she's a Michigan and Texas artist, was the curator and organizer of that show. And we couldn't have done it without her. So Laura is one of the presenters when we do our Beit Midrash Art Studios on Fridays online. And that's all. I just had forgotten to mention some two very important things.
Appreciate it. Catherine Daly.
Hi, my name's Catherine
Welcome.
Daly. I'm new to this organization. I apologize. I've tried to make it so many times, but I'm on the West Coast, and every time I'm like, it's East Coast time. Anyway, thank you for tuning me in. But basically, I serve on another board that's unrelated. I also belong to the Northern California and the Southern California chapters. I also belong to WEED. That's Women's Eco Art Dialogue. And I serve on Pacific Rim Sculptures as the vice president and also as a chair on exhibitions. But my question is this, is there space in there in the organization, in this organization, to, because you mentioned about broader reach, collaborating with other organizations. We did a project called She They, and we had that at a gallery in Santa Cruz. It was very well received. The artwork was pretty terrific, actually. And so we're currently looking at doing iterations of something along the same line. We might tweak the name, but I just wondered, is there space in this organization for something along those lines?
I would say yes. I'm not sure from a national standpoint how much collaboration has been done with various organizations, but I do know chapter level, quite a few of the chapters do participate with or partnership with other organizations. I would love to connect with you. Let me send you, you can, pretty simple, Sandra.Davis, national. And we can kind of talk a little bit more about that for exhibition opportunities. And I think the more we can broaden our reach, you know, we don't have to just be, I think somebody had mentioned in the Chicago, New York, you know, we don't have to stay in those hubs. And as long as there's what I call boots on the ground to kind of help facilitate what would be happening in that particular venue, we're more than welcome to entertain those things. So yes, thank you for asking.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the organization that I belong to give you a little back information, Specific Rim Sculptors, we're a chapter of the ISC. We're the Western chapter. We have memberships that go up through Washington, the state of Washington, down to, we actually have a member in Mexico, and we have some in the South. I think we have one in the Southwest, and as far, because it's Pacific Rim, as I believe we have one member in New Zealand. So it's pretty broad. Our membership is roughly, it's not a huge membership. It's about 150 artists, and we are sculptors. That's the primary focus. However, within that group, many of the artists, as you know, they don't stick with in one line, right? We all play around. All
Yes.
right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Anybody else with a question or a comment? Would love to hear from you.
I would just like to tell Catherine, we've done a lot of collaborations with city, municipal entities, as well as other nonprofits here in Colorado. And if you'd like to, just give me a call and I can tell you what we've been doing. And I'm also a member of WEED. So
cool.
I would love to see something happen with that.
How about if I just, let me see, trying to figure out how to best share all this. Let's see, trying to direct. Should
I
I
was gonna
just,
say, can you put links in the chat maybe?
yeah, I'm trying to get, for some reason, I'm having trouble sending it to everyone. I don't know why. Hang on. Let me.
And if not, you can always send it to me and then we can disseminate that.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I have the individual oh, here it is. I got it. Just being silly. Okay, there we are.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else have any feedback? Anything you wanted to share? We've got a couple more minutes, maybe about 10 more minutes. That's quiet. Go ahead, Catherine, real quick.
Sorry, I missed the beginning. How do we post our announcements? I don't know how to do that. Should I talk to someone about that regarding upcoming exhibitions? I'm completely new, so I'm kind of trying to get ahead of everything.
Yeah, there are several ways of doing this. You can go, if you have an event, you can go to the calendar.
Okay.
Shall I share my screen there? This time I hope it works out a little
Okay.
bit
Thank
better.
you.
Let me just pull up my screen here.
I
Thanks, Paula.
apologize if you already did this. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so there's several ways of, wait.
So tips, Karen.
I know, like, I'm sorry. This is, do you see now do you see this, the calendar? Do you see
I
the
do
page?
see it. I see, yes.
Yeah, so basically this is our calendar, right? So you can list your event right here. Hopefully this works. Okay, so here's you put
okay.
up your event and then it will go into review, but I get an email that somebody posted something and then I will, look that everything is okay. If there's something missing, I will contact the person who sends it, and then I don't know what is this here. But yeah, so basically that's one way of doing this. And then if you are going, let's say you want something, what is this here? I don't understand. There's somebody doing something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get rid of this here. No,
Hmm.
this, what is going on here? Who's doing this?
I have no
Idel,
idea. That's crazy.
Idel, this is you. Idel, you are doing something here. Do you see that? It says Idel Hammond is making drawings. Okay, so whatever this is, yeah, this is like bizarre. But anyway, so if you're going to the contact page,
Contact.
you see like submission forms. So basically here you can submit to Pulse, right? Like when you click on this, you can kind of like the form comes up and you let us know that this is what you want to post. Here's social media. Sometimes it's the same thing, like another form, and then one of our um, social media poster will basically post this to Instagram and Facebook. So then it will, be posted and on the homepage, right? Like here. So then this will be in the feed right here, right? So you have this in our Facebook feed, or it will come in the Instagram feed. So basically, there are some ways, and also what I would like to see is more blog submissions. So basically, this is like an idea that you can promote or kind of suggest for another blog. So basically, this is our blog, and I don't think we have talked about it. So this is basically like I've been working with those two people, like Olga and sorry, I forgot her name, on these past two blogs, right? And so yeah, so basically I think like this is a nice way of meeting our members. Basically, they're talking about, their own artwork and their challenges, right? This one was about art as healing. Then we had another one that was about collaboration, and she's a mural artist. Okay, there we go. Yes, her name is Ruth Andrews. So basically, this we were working on this together, like how to make, like a story about a mural that she kind of was commissioned to do, and then it turned out this has the background is completely wrong, and she had to like go back to basis and find out like who are these people and get the story right. So I would like to see more of those blogs in like ways of like maybe somebody saw a really great show, somebody did a project and would like to write about the project. It can be really anything that is worth sharing with our members. So this is an open thing. Please submit something and we can get together and work on something.
And we can only submit that through this form. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the form, no, the form is basically, let me look this up again here. Like with the form, it's like when you have the blog post abstract submission is basically like you fill it out and then you say like what chapter you are with and then describe a post in a few words what you would like to do, right? So just like 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 I don't know, like maybe you are like an art instructor or something and you would like to write about a program you did, and so then basically give some images and then submit it, and it gets to like a holding tank, and then once in a while I go through the folder and see like what came in, and then we can get together and come up with like a blog. Basically I help you to get the images up, the text up in a good form. So basically what I need is like your text, your images, your captions, and we can get it done.
And this form is at the top bar under blog, is that?
Under
No,
contact.
exactly that.
Oh, under
All of
contact.
those things, this you find on our contact page right here,
Okay.
right?
All right, good.
So this is that. And then of course we also have a shop, and we actually sold a few t-shirts, which was really great. So this is like basically merchandise we have, and there are some of our catalogs, and this is for sale. And this we work with Printful, and so you can basically order a t-shirt. And we had like a poster contest like 2 years ago, I think, like a year and a half ago, and where basically Printful also prints out posters if somebody wants to order something like that. So anyway, this is like what we have on our website, which was not probably touched upon. And if you see here, like we have like so much stuff like that, it's packed full of information about who we are, our history, the board, our publications, what we have done, activism, and here are our like, there's endless stuff to investigate.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah.
I think we've got a couple more hands up. I can't see them with your sharing screen.
I'm taking it off.
Remedio?
Yes, Remedios here.
Remedios, thank you.
I'm trying to cook my breakfast and pay attention here at the same time. But it's nice to hear from Catherine Daly, because I also am a WEED member. I've been trying to connect more with them and collaborate, and with the Northern California chapter of the Women's Art Caucus. And anyway, so I posted on the chat the link to my website and to my activist website, The Gentle Revolution, because one of the things I've been working on for many years is group exhibits around the ideas of my Gentle Revolution manifesto that is posted on both those sites. So trying to save the earth from destructive practices, save our cultures, save our democracy, all those kinds of values. Anyway, you can see those. And now that I'm hearing from the Women's Caucus of the Art, I'm learning more about, what you're doing. Maybe there's a way of having a group exhibit within your organization also. Or one of my ideas I've thought about within my own hometown was regional, was to get a variety of different galleries all having conversations with their communities, with their artists' artwork about the Gentle Revolution ideas and values presented in the manifesto. And anyway, grand ideas, dreams, right, is that we could have this spreading, Gentle Revolution exhibition by artists, through communities across the whole nation, or, whatever, the world, if we all start talking about these things and having exhibitions based around this variety of themes, then that whole unit would get more attention for people to be ready to take action. And maybe we can, through art, save this world from destruction. I take on these big projects, and that's my life energy, and that's what I do with my art, besides go out in the woods and try to paint paintings of things that I love and present those also, because I decided to not be a landscape artist as a youth, because that was kind of like a dead end in the art world. You got to do something more profound, and graphics and painting and sign painting, and as another artist doing many different things, I finally now is to the point to where landscape painting now is a statement.
Thanks.
And now it's kind of like, oh, she's a radical. She's into protecting the environment and loving nature. It's like, oh my God, this world has changed so weird. Anyway, I'm so glad to be able to paint my paintings about the earth that I love so dearly and have them be attractive. And I'd like it to be a springboard for conversations about other things that you'll see in my manifesto. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. We've got time for one more question. Elsa?
Thank you. I just wanted to say that given Trump's inauguration in a few days. I think it's time for WCA to become very activists. We need to support the LBGT community and keep them active and do something about the environment. And I've really enjoyed this meeting and seeing what everybody's doing. And hi, Karen. She and I've known each other for 30 years. Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for participating today. This really does my heart wonderful to see everybody who joined in today. It's really important again that this community, this connection, just we keep this thing going. There's always going to be versions of WCA and iterations of WCA. Things are going to churn and change and pivot. But the most important part of this is our connectivity and our community with one another. So I want to close out and say thank you once again. Thank you to our caucus leaders and sharing their information and their enthusiasm. Remember, seen, heard, and recognized. How do we see what you're doing? How do we hear from you? And how do we make sure that that recognition continues across the organization? So thank you, everybody. Have a good week coming up, and take care.